What's good, y'all? I'm trying something new today. I'm using my iPad, so I hope the framing looks good. I have no clue because I don't have a fancy Apple Watch to check to see if it's lined up. So let's hope that it's cool and it's good. I'm just trying to use different mediums to try and get the videos out quicker, edit the videos quicker, and things like that. So we're trying my iPad. And if this works, this might be a good option besides for the fact that I can't see what the hell I'm looking at. But let's give it a try. I would love to talk about brass bands. And I'm going to have a whole video series on brass bands. And basically, I'm going to rank them. I know. It's a crazy idea, but we all think it in our minds, and we all have our favorites, and we all think, if there were a brass band prize, who would it go to? So this is kind of like my brass band prize, so to speak. If I were to be giving out prizes, and don't come at me for no money or nothing like that. I don't have nothing like that for the prizes or anything like that. It's not that serious. But for a long time, I've been interested and been wanting to kind of just like see who were my favorite brass bands and discover new ones. So I made this playlist called Tuba Fresh's Brass Band Playlist. That's a mouthful. I just failed at saying that a couple times. And I got a lot of great suggestions, bands I had never heard of before. So it took me a while to listen to everything. I didn't listen to every single thing, but I listened to probably at least one track from every album that was on there. The first thing is that, and I'm just looking at my phone here because this is where I have my notes. Let's get into the first thing. The first thing is that the band has to have been recorded and have put out some sort of music, so an EP or an album on popular streaming platforms, right? Like Spotify or, Apple Music or, whatever, wherever, right? It has to be music that has been released, not just a video, a live performance video or something like that. So music that has been released. The second thing is the band has to have a tuba in it or sousaphone. So it's really hard to maybe kind of categorize brass bands, but that's my opinion of mostly of what can make up a brass band. So, for example, Trombone Shorty and Orleans Avenue does not count. That's more of like a solo act with a band. Like the Roots, they're not gonna count even though they have a sousaphone player in the band because it's not really a brass band. And like Moon Hooch, the saxophone group, they don't have a tuba in it, and I don't think they identify as a brass band. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So it has to be a proper brass band. And what's the other thing? Is there another thing? I'm sure there was another thing that I forgot. My first category of this whole brass band ranking thing, this whole brass band thing, is the NOLA Legends category. They deserve to be first because this category is really for the bands that have kind of created this culture from the start, and whose forefathers and ancestors have built this whole concept of traditional New Orleans brass band sound, which is, I believe, what the brass bands I'm talking about believe that it all stems from there, and it all comes from that rich history of New Orleans brass bands, traditional brass bands. So to pay respect to them and to honor them, we're starting off with them first. This category is called NOLA Legends because these people have paved the way for what the rest of us have been doing. All right, so in order to break up this series and to make it a little bit more accessible, we're gonna just do one band today, and it's going to be an honorable mention. Please, if you have thoughts about this, drop it in the comments. This is my honorable mention. Like I said, this is just my opinion. You might have your opinion, all right? And it's cool. We just all have our opinions. I just happen to be somebody in front of a camera saying my opinion, all right? So here it is. You know, let's start with Hot 8 brass band. They're my honorable mention. There might be other honorable mentions. We'll see. But Hot 8 Brass Band, I really love them. They're one of my personal favorites because I feel like a lot of these current day street style brass bands kind of like were brought up on Hot 8 and other similar types of brass bands around that time in that area, that region. I think the cool thing about Hot 8 is what they did was really combined, like, not just the traditional kind of like gospel New Orleans type style, but they combined that with R&B and hip hop, funk, jazz, and they really put a current spin on it. You know, these are some young guys that want to play music that they loved and they enjoy. So it was like another generation, like a younger generation, people who loved, you know, the rebirth and the treme and all that, and created their own unique sound. So I really feel like a lot of the brass bands that I hear today, all around the world, all around the country, have really got their sound or ideas really from Hot 8. Now, Hot 8 started out, the group was started and formed by tuba player Benny Pete in the 90s. The band really got worldwide acclaim when they were featured in Spike Lee's joint documentary, When the Levees Broke, after Katrina, a documentary about Katrina. I watched a couple interviews on Benny, and Benny talked about being heavily influenced by Philip Frazier, the tuba player in Rebirth, and he was just waiting to like come up and do his own thing, but he was really inspired by Philip. And you know, sadly, that group has seen a lot of trauma. Like, people, you know, the trumpet player was shot. Like, some of the trombone player, I think, was like shot by the police. It's fucking crazy. So we have to give these bands, you know, their flowers, because they have, you know, been doing this for generations and pass it on and keep it going. So and the other thing is, you know, and most of us know this already, but Benny Pete passed away in 2021 due to other complications, but also COVID-19. So, you know, definitely rest in peace, Benny, for what he's done with the community, for the music community and the culture. And like his sound, I listen to him almost all the time. He's on like all my playlists, and then it comes to brass band stuff. So his sound and his ideas and his love for this music and for this culture will forever live on. So my first honorable mention, Hot 8 Brass Band. All right, y'all. This is the first of a few videos coming in terms of this brass band ranking. Stay tuned. And of course, if you made it this far, subscribe. Show some love. I'm trying to monetize this bitch. Peace.